white people blame us for their problems. Let me give you a prime example. I'm in Roseburg, Oregon, right? You got a bunch of white meth addicts. They can't stop doing meth. They love meth. Meth is like water to them. And they blame black people for that. I hired a farmhand who was she identifies as a white guy, but he's fucking Hispanic. And he's sitting there talking about how, well, I used to have problems with black people because we used to blame them for their problems. You're blaming us for your problems. They are so used to us being slaves. They are so used to us cleaning their fucking houses, taking care of their goddamn kids, tending to their fucking fields, to the point where they cannot function on their own. Many of them, they're like children, like stupid, meth addict, inbred children. So I want you to understand something, right? Some of the animosity that you're seeing, like in places like Roseburg, Oregon, very, very white town, it's because they can't stop doing meth. They can't stop banging their fucking sister, so they want to blame you for it, for their own bullshit meth-fueled actions.
One thing I love about some of these videos is the MAGA people that are making these apology videos for voting for this administration. This one is funny. It's quick. She's like, I just won't say I'm sorry. I have to vote for him.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was going to make things better for us.
I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did.
Now I'm starting to go home. I came back my groceries. I can't put my lights on. First of all, the groceries you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, I just can't believe it now.
They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month to keep the lights on.
Now, what about my diabetes? My diabetes, man, is acting up. Can't feel my foot, can't feel my feet, and I didn't even know the new deal.
Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone.
Get out of here. This is what you voted for. You voted because you thought black people were going to get f***ed, didn't you? Black folks, especially black Americans, have been living with nothing for the longest time.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Once again, Denga Reaction. If you are new here, don't forget to like this, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never misses out on my discussion. Today, we are talking about a topic that has created a lot of debate online. Some people who support the MAGA movement are experiencing frustration about the rising of cost of living, expensive housing, healthcare costs, and the economy. But instead of asking whether the government policies are working, some people have started blaming Black Americans for this problem. Is that a fair argument, or is it a distraction from the real issue? In this video, we look at the facts that the facts, the history, and why blaming an entire community does not solve economic problem. So guys, remember to watch till the end, and I'll be back with more comments.
Videos for voting for this administration. This one is funny. It's quick. She's like, I just won't say I'm sorry. I have to vote for him.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was going to make things better for us.
I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did.
Now I'm starting to go home. I came back my groceries. I can't put my lights on. First of all, the groceries you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, I just can't believe it now.
They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month to keep the lights on.
Now, what about my diabetes? My diabetes, man, is acting up. Can't feel my foot, can't feel my feet, and I didn't even know the new deal.
Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone.
Get out of here. This is what you voted for. You voted because you thought black people were going to get f***ed, didn't you? Black folks, especially black Americans, have been living with nothing for the longest time. So surviving is very, very easy. Very easy. You understand? That's why black folks are playing it smart. We're moving as a unit. You know, other than some of the sellout, but other than that, black people are moving in a way where we're not even being bothered. Oh my God. Oh my God, the country's in shambles. Oh, they're being unfair. Black folks are like, yo, man, I'm going to Costco. What you about to do? So, hey, man, it is what it is. You voted for your own advice, and that's just the way it goes.
There is absolutely nothing that MAGA folks won't blame on people of color. Not because folks of color are actually to blame for any of those things, but because it's all MAGA knows. If you're out of work, must be because an immigrant of color or a black person took your job. If your taxes are too high, it must be because of welfare payments going to those people. Never mind the contradiction of saying that they take all the jobs, but also take none of the jobs because they're too busy relying on welfare rather than working. It can't be both, guys. You got to pick a lane, right? Kid didn't get into the college you wanted? Well, must be because a person of color got preferential treatment and stole their slot, even though the Supreme Court has essentially ended race-based affirmative action. You can't afford a home? Well, it must be because immigrants are taking all the homes and driving up the cost. Forget for a minute that they're also the ones building most of the homes, thereby driving down the cost, but, whatever. Scared of crime? Well, it must be because black and brown folks and migrants are making the cities unsafe. Forget for a minute that crime has actually dropped, even as immigration has gone up, and immigrants have lower crime rates than American citizens, but, whatever. When the pandemic hit, oh yeah, that was the fault of Asians, people of color, and their open air markets. When a door flew off a plane a couple years ago, Elon blamed it on a DEI program for pilots. And when a barge brought down a bridge in Baltimore, the right blamed it on the DEI mayor, which is just their new word for the N-word. To MAGA, white folks are never to blame for anything. Black and brown folks are to blame for everything. Why? Because MAGA is a racist cult. If your answer for every problem in America is people of color, you're a racist by definition. If your answer is Jews, you're a Nazi. And in either case, you deserve to be crushed utterly and without pity or mercy.
They used to eat black people. So to be in such an uproar and outrage as we watch America unfold its historical behaviors, it's interesting because there's an entire book on how to make a black person into a delicatessen. And so if they used to eat us, do you understand their mentality, the sociopathic mentality that they have? So it's not new for us to see strange fruit hanging, tear gassing middle schools, unaliving people in broad daylight anywhere at their homes at any time of the day, and nothing happens. This is not new to us. What exactly did you think Trump meant when he said, "Make America great again"? Did you think he meant make it great again? No, he meant go back to the times where there was strange fruit hanging. You can unalive people in the middle of the street, spray them with hoses and let dogs eat them. He's taken us back to where our ancestors already been. You guys are in an uproar, and you guys know who I'm talking about. We've been trying to tell you this for centuries, and all you did was call us, oh, you guys are acting like victims, let it go. Well, now you see. History always repeats itself because this is a narcissistic system, and they will do whatever they need to do to maintain power and control. So now, do you see clearly what we, us black, original people, have been trying to tell you? This is a part of the reason why they keep us divided, so you won't believe nothing that we say. Well, now you get to see it. We ain't got to say nothing.
Black people are being blamed for homicides that occurred because of COVID-19. There are multiple government agencies that are holding black people responsible for the homicides that occurred directly because of COVID and the 5 years that followed. If you don't want to listen to the rest of this video, that's fine. But I need you to understand how serious that sentiment is. And if you follow any creators that talk on politics or have taken the position of educating the public, I need you to go and comment on their videos and ask them to start looking into this, because it's serious. I cannot find anybody talking about it, and we need to take it for what it is, at its face, and actively go against this rhetoric. Let me explain. Currently, places like the CDC and the FBI are giving information to a company or nonprofit called the Murder Accountability Project, as well as the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary and the U.S. House of Representatives Document Repository, the Federalist Society, and a ton of journalists and politicians are reporting that the 30% spike that we saw in homicide rates in May of 2020 is directly because of the George Floyd murder and BLM riots. That is the narrative. Not only did it increase the homicides in May of 2020, but it's also saying that the reason why homicide rate was so high up until 2024 was all in direct correlation to those riots. This may not seem like a big deal. It may seem like, okay, well, who cares if that's what they want to say? We know it's not true. No, because this is how this starts. It would be really easy for this to be the rhetoric, and then all stats and research that's done following this supports and is founded on this rhetoric. And so then 10 years from now, it'd be super simple to say, oh, look at all this info and all of this research that we did. Now we can go ahead and start making policies that end protests like this, that stop people for being able to gather for this reason. They do not want to take responsibility for COVID-19. They do not want to take responsibility for our government and our economics and our society being the way that it is. And that people are so fed up and done and broke and tired that violence is occurring. They do not want to take responsibility for the fact that more homicides go unsolved because people are afraid to call the police. Instead, they want to once again rewrite our history to blame Black people for something that has absolutely nothing to do with them. In fact, a lot of the journalists and politicians and lawyers and everyone that I see writing about this from that side, that rhetoric, is saying, oh, we know that these homicides have nothing to do with COVID-19 because the homicides spike didn't start until May. Yeah, of course it dropped in March. People were terrified. They were terrified to leave their house. They did not know what was happening. It wasn't until May, June, July, when domestic violence situations got incredibly violent. More murders occurred because at that point they had been locked in their house with their spouse for 2 months. It wasn't until May in the summer when people really started feeling the financial repercussions of being locked down, losing their jobs, not having any more unemployment money, not being paid out their last paychecks, no more PTO to collect on. We all know that homicides increase when finances are bad. No, they don't want to take responsibility for any of those things. Instead, they want to sit here and they want to blame Black people and they want to blame the BLM movement for the increase in homicide rates for the last 5 years. This is a big deal, and we need to be consistently fighting this rhetoric. Otherwise, it is going to get very, very easy for them to then continue researching and continue writing and continue talking like this, so much so that 5-10 years from now, we'll take it as truth. We'll take it as truth because we allowed them to research, we allowed them to write these things, we allowed this to be posted on government websites. And if you allow something to exist for that long, people will take it as truth. It will become fact, even though we know it is not. So we need to be talking about this and actively fighting against this. This is anti-racism at its core, and it needs to be the forefront of conversation. So I will continue to talk about this until people start taking it seriously. And I hope that folks with big platforms that are more educated than me can speak on this more than I can. Political influencers, all of those people. I need you to go and tag them. Don't mention me. I don't need anything on my video, but I need y'all to go encourage the people that have an audience to be talking about this. We can't not let them rewrite our history again and again right in front of our faces.
The same fucking people who told Black Americans to stop whining about slavery, stop whining about reparations, stop whining about affirmative action, stop whining about systemic racism, and saying that racism doesn't exist anymore, are the first motherfuckers who are rushing to change the congressional maps so they can try to get an advantage in the following midterms coming up. Racism has always existed, motherfuckers. And you're proving their point. Fuck you, MAGA. Fuck you, MAGA Republicans. You guys are fucking disgusting pieces of shit. And you're not fucking Christians. And you deserve to go to hell and burn like a motherfucker. Yeah, that's what every normal, rational American is thinking. Because you guys are fucking disgusting human beings.
Let me know what you think about it in the comments below.
Black Americans, we must never forget the era of the felon-in-chief, MAGA, and the Republicans. How the felon-in-chief made white people feel very comfortable in expressing their racism blatantly. And in fact, because of crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe, many of them who have been censured by the public, like losing their jobs, in their positions because of their racism, they know they can run over to these platforms and raise thousands of dollars, more money than they probably ever had before. That's what happened in the case of that racist white woman that worked at Cinnabon that was so racist to that Somali, calling them nigger and stating that she was racist. Yeah, she ran right over to GoFundMe and now has raised $75,000, probably even more at the time of this recording. The same with that white woman in the park that called that black child a chimpanzee. And racists set up a crowdfunding campaign for her and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for her. But mark my words, the felon-in-chief won't be in power forever. And I know it already has felt like 1,000 years, but he won't, y'all. The Republicans won't be in power forever. I don't know what the United States of America will look like once their time ends, but I do know this, that they are already realizing that they have hitched their fortunes to a now sinking ship. And so you're going to see more of these racist MAGA Republicans try to rebrand, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I personally believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene has her eyes set on the presidency. And so she is trying to rebrand herself as a more sympathetic, compassionate, racist and bigot. And she will not be alone. Now, in terms of the general public, many, not all, of course, but many white Americans who have become so comfortable with being blatantly racist, showing who they really are, they're going to try to put the mask back on. All of these companies, when it is no longer profitable for them to be as racist as they have always been, the same companies that 5 years ago pledged support to the Black American community because of the Black Lives Matter movement that ignited over the lynching of George Floyd, almost every last one of those companies has reneged on those promises, which many of we Black Americans saw that coming. That's not a shock. But when it is no longer profitable for them to eliminate DEI and fire Black American employees, they're going to go on a PR campaign to rehabilitate their image unlike you've ever seen. Don't forget. Don't let anyone forget. Don't forget how trees in this country still bear strange fruit. Do not forget how police brutality continues in our communities. Do not forget all of the blatant racism that has been expressed towards us. Let's not forget those who stood with white supremacy, thinking that somehow proximity would get them grandfathered in. We, as we move forward, Black Americans must never forget. And even whenever this era is over, and all of a sudden, everyone tries to claim that they are allies and supporters of the Black American community, because I know it doesn't seem like it, but that time is going to come sooner or later. We must never forget.
This is what psychological slavery looks like. Take a listen.
Trump is the first black president. Amen. Because he's the first one that has actually addressed issues in the black community. Like, Obama didn't do it. He said it, not me. I mean, in my lifetime, I've gone through Clinton, Bush, and Obama. Neither of them have done anything.
They certainly haven't advocated for responsibility and taking ownership of your own life and knowing that you are an individual and that in America, you have freedom. We defined you as free.
they didn't even put America first. You know, Donald J. Trump puts America first. So you gotta love that, man.
Awesome.
Got to.
You guys, this event is absolutely incredible. What's happening in this country, what's happening here in the heart of Los Angeles, California. We are flipping California red. We are taking America back for red, white, and blue. All colors, all flavors, all races, all religions. It's all e pluribus unum, from the many one. We are one people, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all. 4 more years.
4 more years for Trump.
Okay, so let's be real now. This isn't about a brother in a MAGA hat, right? This is about a disease in our community. A deep generational brainwashing that makes us defend the very system that was built to keep us down. That is not freedom, my brothers and sisters. That is psychological slavery. When I see a black man calling Trump the first black president, I don't see pride. I see pain that has not been processed. I see somebody who's been so down by the system, so hungry for identity, that he grabs the first thing that makes him feel powerful, even if it's a lie. Let me say this loud and clear. Trump is not and never will be the first black president. He's the first to convince some of us that our liberation lies in submission. He's the first to wear racism in plain sight while using black faces as political props to say, see, I can't be racist. And some of y'all fell for it hard. But it's not just him. It's a systemic strategy. Replace our history with propaganda. Feed us toxic masculinity and call it strength. Preach personal responsibility while defunding our schools, stealing our votes, locking us up, and calling our leaders thugs. That's not love, y'all. That's manipulation. Now, don't get me wrong. We have every right to criticize past Democratic leaders, even Obama. But please don't ever confuse critique with betrayal. Don't sell your soul to the same movement that would have had your grandmother picking cotton with a smile just because they told you you're different. You want to be a patriot? Cool, be one. But please don't co-sign a man who banned DEI programs, praised Confederate statues, refused to say Black Lives Matter, told the police to rough up suspects, aka us, and tried to erase the teachings of slavery and racism in schools. You can't wear a red hat and act like you represent freedom when you're parroting white nationalism in black skin. The truth is, this behavior is not confusion. It's survival trauma. It's what happens when we've been lied to so long, we start mistaking our oppressor for our protector. But here's the truth. Responsibility without justice is just obedience. Patriotism without truth is just propaganda. And loyalty to a man who wouldn't defend your humanity, that's not love, bro. That's captivity. And to all my people now, this is bigger than him. We gotta stop laughing at this and start healing from this. Because this is not comedy. This is conditioning. So this is something I want to challenge you to do. Study your history. Guard your mind. Speak truth in love, but never sugarcoat reality. And when you see a brother or sister lost in that MAGA fog, don't just roast them, reach for them. Because if we don't educate our own, they're going to keep weaponizing our ignorance against us. We are not props. We are not pawns. We are not confused. We are the descendants of warriors, revolutionaries, kings, queens, and freedom fighters. Act like it. Speak like it.
So guys, the first thing we should understand is that millions of Americans are struggling right now. Food costs more than it did a few years ago. Rent is expensive. Buying a home is becoming difficult for many families. Healthcare costs continue to rise. These are the really problems that affect people of every race and background. Then, when people are under financial pressure, they naturally want answers. They want someone to explain why life has become so difficult. But sometimes, instead of looking at complicated economy issues, it becomes easier to blame one group of people. That is what this discussion is about. The argument made in this video is that some frustration frustrated MAGA supporters are directing their anger towards Black Americans. Instead of asking whether political leaders are delivering on their promises, whether you agree or disagree politically, it is important to ask a simple question. Can one racial group really be responsible for nationwide inflation, housing shortage, healthcare costs, or rising prices? Most economists would say no. These issues are usually connected to many different factors: government spending, interest rates, supply chains, global conflict, labor shortage, business decisions, and economy policies all play a role. This is a complex problem. History also shows that during difficult economic times, different groups have often been blamed for problems they did not cause. This has helped many countries throughout history. Instead of focusing on policy, public debate sometimes shifts towards blaming minorities, immigration, or other communities. The video adds that this pattern continues today. Rather than discussing why groceries cost more or housing is expensive, attention is sometimes directed towards race. That may create headlines, but it does not lower prices. It does not build more homes. It does not reduce healthcare costs. It does not improve wages. Real solutions require serious discussions about policy. Another point discussed in the video involves crime statistics after 2020. This is some commentators blame the increase in homicide rates entirely on the George Floyd protest and the Black Lives Matter movement. However, the video says that the situation was much more complicated. During the COVID-19 pandemic, millions of people lost jobs, families experienced financial stress, schools closed, many people faced isolation, uncertainty, and mental health challenges. Communities across the country experienced major disruptions. Many researchers have suggested that these factors also played an important role in the increase of violence seen during the period. In the other words, the issue cannot be explained by one event alone. Complex problems usually have multiple causes. Recognizing that complexity does not excuse crime. Instead, it helps people understand why problems have so better solution can be developed. The video also discussed Black America, who supports the MAGA movement. We uses the phrase psychological slavery to urge that Black people, conservatives, defend political system that the creator believed that served Black communities well. This is a strong opinion that one that many people would debate. In a democracy, every person has the right to support whichever political party they chooses. People have different life experiences, different priorities, and different beliefs. Political disagreements should never become personal attacks. People debate should be based on facts, respect, and evidence. One important lesson from this conversation is that accountability matters. Citizens should ask leaders difficult questions like, what policies are lowering the cost of living? How will housing become more affordable? How will healthcare improve? How will wages increase? These are the questions every voter should ask regardless of political party. Blaming neighbors does not solve economic problem. Holding leaders accountable is part of the democracy. Another important point is that economic challenges affect people from many different backgrounds. Working families across America face similar struggles. Many people work full time and still worry about paying rent. Parents worry about grocery bills. Young adults wonder if they will ever afford a home. Retirees worry about healthcare expenses. These concerns are shared by a million of Americans. That is why many people believe conversation should focus on practical solution instead of blaming entire community. Strong economies are built through good policies, investment, education, businesses, growth, and opportunities for workers. They are not built by creating division between different groups of people. At the end of the day, everyone wants a better future. People want safe neighborhoods. They want affordable homes. They want quality healthcare. They want stable jobs. And they want leaders who keep their promises. These goals are shared across political and racial lines. If public conversation stays focused on facts, accountability, and practical solutions, there is a better chance of making really progress. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I like to hear your opinion. Do you think political debates spend too much time blaming different groups instead of discussing really economy solution? Remember to share your thoughts on the comment section, and your thoughts should be respectful. And if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to put on the notification bell so that you never misses out on the next discussion. So guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.